Um, what has kept me here? I would say the first thing are the kinds of young people who I get to interact with. From the moment I came here, I knew that they would make me a better teacher and a better human. And that goes for their families as well. And the kind of colleagues that I've had the opportunity to work with. I teach 7th grade social studies and 8th grade global studies. Social studies incorporates a lot of U.S. government, U.S. history, some Washington state history, and current events. And global studies begins with the time period when the U.S. really started to have a role in the world with the rest of the world, sort of around the turn of the century into 1900, late 1890s, 1900. And then continuing through the two, World War I and II and the Holocaust and United Nations and human rights and looking at contemporary world issues today that were shaped by key events. So we can't do everything, obviously, it's a year, but picking geographic regions and what are gonna be the biggest issues facing them in their future, and were there critical moments that inform that.
How do I feel about the 7th grade? I feel, because there's not a lot of us, you get to know a lot of people because you're grouped in with tables, so you get to know everyone. It's just a nice space. I know in some of my other classes there were so many of us, so you didn't really get to have any personal connections to everyone. But now I can just hang out with anyone, I can feel comfortable with anyone. So that's really something that I like about having a small school. So basically what I feel about 7th grade is just a place with a lot of friendly people that I can hang around with.
Adventure and Wellness is an integrated PE and health program that provides students with an opportunity to play, to ask questions, to learn how to move their bodies and learn about their bodies in a bunch of different ways. We play games, we have health units, we learn sex ed. One of the things that I tell all my classes is that when we have more information, we're able to make better decisions for ourselves. So as we are learning about friendships and relationships, as we're learning about our bodies, as we're learning about oppression in advertising, when we know these things that are out there, then we can make the decisions for ourselves that we want to be making in the world, about where we want to go to high school and who we want in our orbit. All of these different ways that, especially as girls and women, we get lots of different messages out in society about who we're supposed to be or what's considered proper, and that's often at our own detriment. And so when we learn about ourselves, we're able to then advocate for what we need and make our world bigger and bigger. For ourselves, we're trying to not get limited by what we should do, but what is possible. Depending on what they're doing in their other classes, we get to explore it in my class in a physical way or from just a different perspective.
All of our classes have been doing different things. We've done a project in art that was based off of things we'd seen in the media. We've done a project in Spanish where we're just talking about the things that we learned, which we do often. We've been doing responses to books that we're doing in LA, we're reading. And in social studies, we've been talking about concepts like capitalism, fascism, patriotism, nationalism, and other things that shape how the world works and how we view it.
I think that we do it so beautifully, especially in 7th and 8th grade. Not only themselves and looking in, but now looking out into the world. What are they passionate about? How do they want to change the world? How do they want to become change makers? And sometimes it is social justice and anti-bias work and projects that they're working on. It is about advocating not only for themselves but for their community. They learn a lot in science and social science, in humanities. They're looking at language arts and reading books about history and how change makers have created ripples in history as young as they were, right? Adolescents and youth that have made big differences in the world. And they get those role models constantly given to them so then they can feel empowered to become leaders in their community.